guys, welcome to a new video on Mr. Maximum. I wanted something out of my chest. I wanted to ramble about something. I have been playing Cyberpunk for I think now over 40 hours. I haven't completed the main story yet because I have been doing a lot of side quests, so I don't know what the ending is. But I wanted to talk a bit about this whole Cyberpunk controversy because it's really buggy. I'm going to defend Cyberpunk for what it is because from my experience I have not been playing on PC, which is the best version. I have been playing on PlayStation 5 and I can tell you, yes, the game is really buggy. If you have already bought the game, I suggest you just keep it, but I will explain why. If you have not bought it yet, just wait until there are a few patches out. The thing is, this is going to be a rant. You know, this game, beneath all its technical issues, is a masterpiece. I'm serious. I love this game. The story is great, characters are great, side quests are Witcher 3 level. The gameplay is really fun. I love the progression system because it's really reminiscent of Skyrim, which is one of my favorite games ever. If you do something, you get better at it. That's what I love. The cybernetics are great. Hacking is actually like good compared to something like Watch Dogs. A game about hacking doesn't have great hacking, yet Cyberpunk does. If I go on like Reddit, you know, the Cyberpunk Reddit page, I am seeing negativity over let's burn CG Project Red. Listen, I'm not going to say that what they did with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One footage, not showing that and only let reviewers review PC versions, that's scummy, of course. But I don't think they deserve all this shit they're getting. The thing is, CD Projekt Red is a company. And companies are out to make money. Just like any other video game company. EA is like that, Activision is like that. And trust me, I know this gaming industry really well. EA and Activision have done far worse shit than CG Projekt Red has. And they make one mistake and it costs their reputation, sure. Look at our stock prices, they are fucking like down to 20 to 30%, that's a lot. They basically lost 1 billion over a week in money. But to send the developer death threats and stuff like that, please don't do that. When I look at this Reddit page, I see people having the most weirdest expectations. What did you think this game was going to be? Like some kind of fucking life simulator 2.0? This is an RPG in the style of Witcher 3. And in my opinion, they succeeded with that. Great story. Some things are even better than Witcher 3. Especially when it comes to story pacing, of course the game is shorter. The main story is only around like 30 hours, that's not a lot. Skyrim wasn't that long either. It had a main questline for like 20 to 30 hours, but all the rest of the game was side quests that make that game so amazing. And in my opinion, that's the same thing with Cyberpunk. I'm seeing too many people comparing this to the GTA franchise. This is a stupid GTA clone. It has been said so many times online by CG Projekt Red themselves, by journalists, by a lot of people, YouTubers as well. This game is a RPG first. This is not a GTA clone. And if you are going to compare this to a GTA, and I'm sorry, that is your fault. It's not a GTA whatsoever. They have some mechanics that are reminiscent of GTA, yes, for sure. Stealing cars and the wanted system. But is that exclusive to GTA only? I mean, there are other games that outside of GTA do this as well. And I think it's unfair to compare Cyberpunk towards GTA. They are basically both far different games. Then probably the most stupidest thing I've seen is the fact that the AI, the citizens that you see in the game, are not interactable. But let me tell you something. Witcher 3's citizens weren't interactable either. This is basically the same system that they used in Witcher 3. And I see some people go like, Witcher 3 game of all time. And it's a great game, that's true. But Cyberpunk doesn't do that much different. They were expecting something like Elder Scrolls or Fallout. Of course, in those games, almost every NPC is talkable and you can talk with them. Those games have A, a smaller open world, B, they have far less NPCs. Cyberpunk has a lot of NPCs roaming around. And it's not that the NPCs aren't doing anything. They are probably like gridlocked, so they walk in a certain way. But there are NPCs that are also having conversations with each other that you can overhear. And some NPCs even give you quests. I remember in my playthrough this police guy, this woman and this man, and I was hearing them talk about some dude being locked up in their apartment close to V's apartment. And if I wouldn't have listened to that conversation and just walked through and didn't interact with the police officers about what's this about, then I would have missed that little quest, you know? And there are more of these examples in Cyberpunk. And I don't know. Some people just have really weird expectations. That's not to say that Cyberpunk doesn't have any flaws. It has. I think the biggest one, in my opinion, it's my opinion of course, is the fact that the starter point that you choose, your backstory, it's not really that impactful. Maybe towards the ending, but I haven't seen the ending yet, so I can't really judge on that yet. You have these exclusive conversation options. You do have a small exclusive side quest towards your beginner's path, but that's really it. That's maybe one thing that I did find disappointing, but I always judge a game on what it is when it's released. And what it is, I can say, for what it has, it's great. Beneath all the technical issues, of course. What they did with the PS4 and Xbox One, that's bullshit. It should have run, they advertised it as a PS4 and Xbox One game. And I am reviewing this game for Ace Ice. If you don't know what Ace Ice is, I made a previous video about a new project I'm working on. I'm basically reviewing the game for the website, for our YouTube channel, and I will be making a video about that. And I will mention that in my review, and I will take it. But what people need to know, What they need to know about this game is that it's great, and a lot of people won't be experiencing it. But I can tell you, CG Projekt Red will be fixing these issues. The reason why is two reasons actually. They already have a very low stock price, and if they aren't going to do anything about it, they are going to have big financial issues coming with it. So they are basically essentially also forced to fix it. The second reason that it's going to be fixed is Witcher 3's past. Witcher 3 wasn't a great game when it came out either. It had a fucking allowance of bugs as well. Amounts of bugs, and they fixed that pretty quickly. I think that's also just the nature of how their development works. I'm not here to scrutinize them on how they should develop their games. By the end of the day, I only care about the product, and the product is good. I'm sorry, in my opinion. I will say this. I have had on PlayStation 5 every hour a crash. Every hour, around 1 hour and a half. And I'm still playing the game. I have a lot of visual bugs, but I'm still playing the game. Doesn't that mean something? And a lot of people are. I'm not the only one. Think about that. There has to be something there of quality. And I see a lot of comparisons to this is the new Fallout 76. No, it's not. Fallout 76 was far more shit in a lot of ways. It didn't have any great story whatsoever. Gameplay was pretty meh, and it was buggy. That's probably the worst release I've seen in a video game to date. It's even Anthem. Like, Cyberpunk is nothing like Anthem. I'm sorry. I see these like comparisons to far worse titles that's just not deserved. This is such a weird release because I do understand the issues. Don't get me wrong, but I love the game to death, and my expectations were pretty reasonable. I expected a Witcher 3 style game in first person in a Cyberpunk universe. And did they deliver on that? Yes, they did. And Johnny Silverhand, that character, he's so amazing. Keanu did a great job on his character. He's probably going to be one of my favorite characters ever. I can tell you this, within 4 to 5 months, this will be blown away. They will fix the game, and suddenly Cyberpunk is a great game. Did it need to be longer in development? Probably yes. Then let's talk a bit about issues people are finding next to the bugs. The AI is probably broken, and people say that, no, this has like San Andreas AI. But I think the AI is not really that bad. I think it's more because of the fact that the bugs make the AI look bad. Maybe they can fix that in patches. The problem is I can't judge really the AI on this release yet. In my opinion, in combat, and when combat just works, the AI is pretty normal. I don't see any major problems with it. Then the wanted system is very scrutinized. I wanted to touch about that as last thing. That also goes with the GTA thing I said. I understand what they did with the wanted system, because the thing is, this open world is not made to hide your car in. If you have ever played GTA, you basically get wanted if you do something bad, and you will have to or outrun the cops or hide somewhere. Most of the time hide somewhere. But Cyberpunk is not, its world is not made to do that, because that's not the focus. Most most streets are pretty big to ride in, or very small to walk in. There aren't a lot of places where you can hide or you have to go outside the city. And then I do understand that they make basically the police system a bit easier. Well, that's just think about that. I just wanted to say. Anyway, that's the whole thing of this video. Is the outrage is, in my opinion, far too overblown. I really want to say this: if you have the game already, think about the refunds, but think hard on it, because I can assure you, if they don't fix it, you can blame me. You can blame me. But I'm sure I'm gonna give CD Projekt Red the benefit of the doubt that they will fix it. The question is, how long is it gonna take? Is it gonna take a week? Is it gonna take a month? Maybe 3 months? That could be. But they will be fixing it. And then when it's fixed, you will see what I mean with the fact that it's a great game. It's just, I would rather play this game. I would rather play Cyberpunk 2077 in its bugged state rather than Last of Us Part 2, that is a story mess, that is the most polished game there is. Remember this. I always say this in other videos and podcasts. A bugged game can be patched. A game with bad story and bad gameplay mechanics and core mechanics cannot be patched. That was my video. Now fuck off.